Hi, Jangoo Dalal, sir.
Hi, good evening, Samesh. How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. I think it's a working day, so we should wait for a little while for others to join.
Okay.
With the permission of people who have come on time.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Snita. Good
Hello,
evening.
sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Rajesh Kumar, कैसे हो?
Bus fine, sir, fine.
Good to see you.
I am lucky because I seen that WhatsApp message just before 10 minutes. I was in the office, rushed to the home and immediately joined the sessions.
Oh, so nice of you. Lovely. Thanks a lot. आप कहाँ रहते हो, राजेश कुमार?
I am from Ahmedabad, sir.
अच्छा,
And
गुजराती
I
છો?
am very lucky because I am on rented house, which is
हाँ.
hardly half kilometer away from the office. Very
अरे वाह.
purposely, I took that home.
Very good, very good. Your carbon footprint is also less by doing that. So good.
Yes, sir.
Very good evening, sir. I hope you are able to hear me, and we are live right now on LinkedIn.
Hi,
And
Harsha. Good evening.
very good evening, sir. We are live right now on all our social media, in fact, and we are all very excited to hear from you. Allow me to introduce. Mr. Jangoo Dalal has over 30 years of leadership experience in technology sector. He's presently the co-founder and CEO of GovEVA, which is a digital platform that drives measurable and sustainable outcomes for corporate boards and investors. He holds global ESG competent boards designation and ESG CBD certification. Over the period of his career, he has led, grown, and transformed businesses across India, SAARC, APAC, and he has also led Cisco, Avaya, D-Link, and Wipro as an independent director. We are eagerly looking forward to learn more on the career paths that the students can select and how can they how does the board thinks about it and what is the roadmap for navigation for this. We are looking forward to hear from you and very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you, Harsha, and good evening to everybody. I'm assuming most of us are from India. If people are from other parts of the world, good day to all of you. Thank you, Harsha, for inviting me, and thank you all people who are joining on various channels. It's a working day, 8 p.m. in the evening. We all must be tired, so I'll try and keep this as refreshing and interesting as possible. As Harsha mentioned, before I started the GovEVA journey, I was a corporate professional like most of you on this call as well. So I've seen both sides of the equation. I've had the opportunity to lead companies, both listed, unlisted, as CEO and MD, and now we serve them through GovEVA. So my intent today, as I share my screen over here, is to give you a perspective of what corporate India, corporates across the world are looking for in people like you, what are the job opportunities, etc. Uh, can you folks see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So with this, let's get started. The topic today is strategic careers in ESG. What are the demands? What are the skills? What are the global opportunities? Before I dive into this exact specific context, with everyone's permission, over the next 3 or 4 slides, I would like to set the context of what CEOs, CXOs, board members, corporate leaders, and others look at when they look at ESG and their business, right? Uh, the main point which you must all remember is that when all of us are entering into this new career or new business or whatever we do after our programs, or if you're already doing that, uh, we are entering when the world is not business as usual, where things business as usual are no longer enough. Now, change as a constant and stuff like that, we have been hearing for many decades. Right from the time we were born, we went to KG school, all our teachers, parents are telling us all this. But the reality is, from the perspective of all of us on this call today, all the channels that we are on today, from a ESG sustainability perspective, in the 21st century, climate, social, and governance risks are actually shaping business decisions. If you look at the World Economic Forum, which to my mind is a classic example of all businesses globally represented by a very powerful body which meets every year at Davos. So when they meet, corporate chieftains from all over the world come together, and what they talk about, what they at the end of it publish, is of great importance to all of us. Now, if you look at the World Economic Forum, when they meet annually, at the end of the meeting that they have over 2-3 days, they come out with the commentary and conclusions of what all the business leaders across the world are thinking about. And one of the main things they come out with is what are the risks and opportunities that businesses globally face, and they rank them. Over the last 3 years, when they do this listing of global risks and opportunities, ESG, sustainability, climate comes amongst the top three. In fact, it started at number 3, and this year it was at number 2. So, corporate chieftains, people who move and shake the business world, enterprise world, today are thinking of ESG as, if not handled properly, a big risk to their business. But at the same time, in terms of the economy, which is transitioning to renewable energies and other various things, there's a great opportunity as well, right? So in that context, I'm not, don't get carried away by the title of the slide. I'm not here to tell you what is ESG. All of you are very, very familiar with this topic. But the point I want to make is, people today are looking at ESG from a perspective that when I evaluate a company, if I'm a B2B buyer, if I'm an automobile maker and I want to buy components from an auto component industry, so I'm a B2B buyer. If I'm an investor, if I'm a venture capitalist or a PE investor where they buy out whole of companies, or if I'm even a banker, a state banker like State Bank of India who's offering debt, every time I'm evaluating a company as a B2B buyer, or as an investor, or as a larger stakeholder, or even if I'm a regulator, I am not looking at the financial performance alone of a company anymore. People are increasingly wanting to know how responsibly and sustainably a company operates. And that's why this whole concept of ESG got created. As you know, a lot of the management thought that we follow across the globe in the 20th and 21st century, somewhere or the other, mostly comes out of the US. And rightly so, they are the world's largest economy at $30 trillion. All of us pale in comparison to that. And whatever thinking happens over there shows in the results and people adopt it. ESG actually came out of the US when investors, regulators, customers wanted to know and wanted metrics, measurement criteria, and ways of looking at companies which make them future proof, manage their climate and social risks, and run the businesses ethically. There are multiple examples of companies failing because they don't take care of future risks and opportunities, and we'll not get into that today evening. Similarly, on climate and social risks, you do a simple Google search and you'll find many companies in their graveyards because they ignored this. And then ethics and governance always is very, very important for investors, because although my P&L balance sheet may say a very healthy story, if at the back end the people who are managing this have not very high standards of governance, I as an investor can really suffer. So then, putting two and two together, this is the context that we should look at and how ESG adds value. I thought it's important for us to understand this because once we get the context how businesses are thinking, we will start looking at the program that we are doing at IICSR or whatever other things we are doing in terms of our reading. We start looking at it from a lens on how ESG contributes to business. Today, there are many examples where adopting good ESG practices help you grow your revenue. Without that, your revenue stagnates. As GovEVA, we saw multiple industries, whether they are in the transportation logistics sector, in the auto component sector, in the chemical sector, in the healthcare sector, where companies, if they are not paying attention to ESG, are not able to grow or attract premium buyers, B2B buyers, and even B2C buyers. And vice versa, companies who embrace this concepts of ESG, practice it, digitalize it, manage it, have good people like you all running it, are able to open new and premium revenue streams. So there is definitely a top line as well as a cost reduction opportunity which people look at when they see at ESG. So when you're looking at your careers, now start thinking from these angles. Don't think that, oh, I have to do some reporting or I have to do some carbon accounting. Yes, those are the nuts and bolts. But what are the outcomes and the value which ESG drives is around the things which are mentioned over here. Let's take point number 4. Increasingly, whether it is people who give you debt. See, finally, every company which is run, whether it's 1 crore or 10,000 crores or 100,000 crores, they all need capital. And capital comes in only 2 forms. Either debt, which you can get from financial institutions, bonds, or even your banks, or equity. And there is definite preference today for companies who have good equity practices, both in terms of having access to funds and also getting a premium. And I'm telling you all of this from my experience of interacting with companies as part of my GovEVA business. Today in our portfolio of companies, clients, we have quite a few companies who have plans to go public, who are about to do their IPO in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And they have realized that if they want to enter the public capital market and get good valuations and attract premium investors, ESG is a must. And hence, they adopt it and they're willing to pay people like us to help them in their journey. And finally, in the 21st century today, people are getting more and more choosy. Younger generation people, whether they are Gen Z or millennials, they do not want to work for companies who do not have good social metrics, environmental consciousness, and governance parameters. Now, what all of this means is that the fact that you all have chosen ESG as a program to invest your time and effort and money in, you're willing to come at 8 p.m. on a working day and attend session like this, is you already realize this. There are ESG today is equal to massive economic opportunity, both from a revenue, top line, bottom line, all of that perspective, but even from a jobs perspective. New jobs, new roles, new business models. More importantly, it is one career where you can not only make handsome economic rewards in terms of the compensation that you get, but you also get the satisfaction of knowing that you are doing something meaningful and helping the company or business that you are working with create an impact. And finally, let me tell you, all the clients that I speak to, prospects that I have spoken to in the last 5 years, and all my business associates, which I know, everywhere ESG is a CXO, C-suite criteria, strategic requirement, important thing. So unlike say careers in EHS or HR or operations, with due respect to them, where they may not get so much CO, CXO, CFO attention, today people, however mid or junior or senior level positions they hold in organizations, by the very fact that they're running the ESG function or a part of it, absolutely get access to the C-suite where they can shine, project themselves better, and then obviously it gives them a stepping stone to look for leadership roles. So let's now start narrowing down, right? As a ESG professional, what are the 4 main areas? Say you do a LinkedIn search or whatever, or you decide where you want to go work. There are 4 areas where you could possibly go and use your skill sets. Number 1 is in corporates. Increasingly, corporates are having full-fledged ESG sustainability teams. We had earlier seen that they would give this extra role to someone in EHS or in even the secretarial department in terms of legal compliance or sometimes HR or investor relationships. But now they are having full-fledged ESG teams with senior leaders and members in them. Obviously, corporates are still not reached the stage of self-sufficiency. So consulting businesses, whether they are big 4 consulting firms, mid-size or even boutique consulting firms, see this as a massive opportunity because the clients whom they work with for other areas are asking them, hey, can you help me on ESG? Now, obviously, if the consulting firms want to enter over there, they need talent. They need people like you and I. Next is financial institutions. Increasingly, as I mentioned to you, whether it's debt or equity, ESG becomes a key criteria and you need specialized talent and people to measure companies on ESG metrics before even you lend a single rupee or dollar to them. For example, our RBI almost 3 quarters back came out with a discussion paper and very soon it's going to mandate. And all of this has started a lot of opportunities in all of the RBI regulated entities, whether they are large public sector banks, private banks or other entities, where IBI is telling these entities, these regulated entities, the banks which RBI governs, that, hey, listen, I am giving you a 2-year period. You need to set in place practices, processes, digital platforms, and teams who are going to evaluate companies whom you're going to lend to at the entry stage. And also, please, on a regular basis, do a risk assessment of your portfolio on ESG metrics. For example, what this means, say if you're a large real estate company, right? If you're a listed company or a corporatized a real estate company, you may be taking loans from banks to bankroll your projects. Real estate projects, infra projects are very capital hungry. Now, a bank which has lent money to a real estate project or an infra project, and if that company which is doing that faces uncertainty because of climate risks, one of the climate risks which all of us are acutely facing is extreme heat days or water shortages. Now, when those kind of situations happen, real estate companies lose productive days. Every summer, when there's a water shortage, for every municipality, in terms of order of priority, providing water to real estate companies comes last. So a real estate company's project gets extended. That means their finances get extended, their ability to pay back the loans get extended. Now what RBI is telling banks is, please evaluate all this. Don't expect that what you're evaluating today will continue forever. Physical climate risk, social risk are real. And if they are going to affect the business whom you are lending to, your ability to get your money back is going to get affected. And then finally is your 4th area, which is firms like mine, GovEVA, which are tech, data, we are working on climate, scaling climate tools, ESG tools, etc. So, mota moti, you have 4 areas where you can look at. And then once you narrow down on any of those 4 areas, you could be doing jobs in consulting, sustainability strategy, supply chain sustainability today, let me tell you, is a very, very big area across not just India, but even global. And that's another lens which I want to let this team know on this call or various channels today, that this specialization which you're going through prepares you not only for roles in India, but please expand your horizons. There is a talent shortage globally for all of this. Across Europe, even US, in spite of what the current president is talking, supply chain sustainability is becoming a big issue because it has a business continuity impact. And then there are things around policy roles as organizations like SEBI, and the National Stock Exchange in India and various other regulatory authorities come out with disclosure norms, etc., and various other things that people need to do, there are people needed in policy roles. Now, one very interesting thing, again, which I want to give you as a takeaway. If you think about it, in any role that you apply for, which is of a traditional nature, say you are a HR professional or a operations role you're doing, or you're doing a EHS role, employee health and safety, or you're a finance professional, whatever role you're doing. If you see in those roles, for any job, the talent pool has been cumulatively built up over the years. HR, finance, EHS, these are not new roles or new domains, right? They have been existing for decades. So every time there is a vacancy, there is a cumulatively built up talent pool which is vying for it. But think about the jobs in our space. Is there a cumulative talent pool available? No. As we speak, over the last 1-2 years, it is getting created with lovely job done by people like Harsha and IICSR. This pool is getting created now. So when you are vying for that job, looking for that job, you are not competing with a large amount of supply pool. That itself creates a demand supply gap, which economics play out. You get good compensation and lesser amount of competition for it. So once you get in there, let's go next level, deep dive, etc. I'll just pause over here. Right now, when I'm doing sharing screen, I cannot see any questions or hands up which may happen on the Zoom call because I've shared my entire screen. Please collect your questions. I'll wind up as early as possible and would love to interact with all of you on the questions which you can put on chat now or reserve it, scribble it on a piece of paper and ask me end of the next 10-15 minutes, right? So I've told you from a business perspective, business leader perspective, how people are looking at ESG, what are the roles available, the 4 sectors within that, what you can do. Now, once you get it, what is the nitty-gritty stuff that you have to do? You have to focus on 3 main areas, if you ask me. ESG strategy, which includes things like materiality assessments, roadmaps and target setting, stakeholder engagements. Then reporting. Reporting is becoming a big domain, right? Every company today, our top Indian corporates, the top 1,000 listed companies have to report the BRSR. But going forward, SEBI is going to has a glide path to include more and more company in the main BRSR reporting. And at the same time, the companies who do the main BRSR reporting have to now report on their supply chain as well. So willy-nilly, people who are suppliers or any kind of value chain partner for product services upstream, downstream, will also have to start reporting to the companies they supply to because SEBI wants that. And that's happening across jurisdictions. Today we deal with companies in India itself, where besides doing the BRSR, because they're serving global markets, they have to do the GRI. Now IFRS is coming in a big way. I'm extremely bullish about the IFRS, ISSB standards S1 and S2. I will urge all of you as students to please focus. If there's one standard which you can bet on going forward, which will probably be most widely accepted, it is the IFRS, ISSB S1, S2. Because IFRS, if you remember its legacy, is the organization with homogenized financial reporting over a period of time, right? Just like today in ESG, which is evolving, we have multiple reporting standards. Financial reporting till 10, 20, 30 years back was no different. If you see a P&L and a balance sheet of Hindustan Unilever in India versus Unilever in UK or in Netherlands, because of the regulatory requirement, it was differently reported. Now then, how do you compare those businesses? So IFRS came and homogenized all of that. Same thing it is going to do with the sustainability standards. And then finally, in terms of the third pillar of your role, what you will do is around climate and carbon. One of the main things when we talk of ESG and environment is all of the climate risk that all of us are facing. And as we know, the main culprit of that is carbon or GHG emissions, as we call them. So the more deeper you are in scope 1, 2, 3 accounting, product carbon footprints, life cycle assessments, SBITI alignments, these are all going to serve you well. Now, don't get daunted. All of us, as we start our careers or if we are midway through our careers, cannot be experts in all of this. But please have working knowledge of all of this and start becoming expert in one by one area, or choose one and become an expert in that. There are people today who are making very good money just doing PCF or LC assessments for clients, or just doing scope 3 accounting or SBTI alignment, or just helping people do a CEO, CDP or a EcoVadis assessment. So multiple pillars are there. As you get into the nitty-gritties, please start understanding them. Now, the topic of today's session is opportunity. And as I mentioned to you, folks, this is one area which opens global opportunities to you, number one. And number two, not just in India, globally, there is no legacy talent pool. You all are among the current generation only available part of the talent pool today. So you should look at opportunities globally. From what we can see, there are obviously common areas around strategy reporting and climate, which run through all geographies. But if you look at each geography differently, the priorities they have, for example, in US today, the big thing is around climate and reporting. California has got its laws in place, irrespective of what the federal government does over there. SEC is also coming out with a disclosures norm very soon. And a lot of companies over there are already majorly on the path of climate and reporting disclosures, whether it's CDP, EcoVadis, etc. They're not slowing down anytime soon. In the EU, they have their own CSRD, SRS. It came out with a very wide canvas. Then there were some pushbacks. It didn't go away. The scope got narrowed. So even today, as we speak, from January 2026, there's a massive requirement for European companies for talent who can help them with their CSRD, ESRS reporting. Europeans, especially as B2B buyers, are very keen on supply chain due diligence as well as life cycle assessments of the various products and services which they either manufacture or procure. Now, if you come to the Gulf, Middle East, there the opportunities are very different. In the sense, if you look at those, most of those large economies have become large or important or rich on traditional fuels, fossil fuels, traditional businesses. Now they all realize that that's not a business which is going to last them forever. If you look at it, Saudi Arabia, and I urge all of you to see it, they have a Vision 2030 document, which is all about transitioning from a completely oil-dependent economy to a multifaceted economy. And in everything in that transition plan, sustainability, ESG is the underlying theme. So if you look at those, there are great opportunities over there. And as they transition, there are massive projects coming up. These areas are perennially short on water, waste management, land, all of those things. Mega giga projects are coming up on renewable energies, waste recycling, land management, water management in a large way. All of this come under the purview of ESG, and we have a lot of opportunity there. In our own country, as I mentioned on the previous slide, all of that's happening. But if you want to start somewhere, reporting and climate tech is the top two things which you can prioritize in terms of your learning. And Singapore traditionally been a finance hub. Amongst everything else, priority there is around sustainable finance. So now we've seen how the world is thinking, what are opportunities. I'm sure all of you are into this program, so you already know what are the hard skills that you need to know. You need to know learn the core reporting frameworks. When I talk frameworks here, I mean the reporting framework. You absolutely need to master and know the fundamentals of carbon accounting, if not PCF and LCA. And then start building your own portfolio. Besides, when you go out in the market today with AI and all kinds of things available, Just because there is no legacy talent pool, just because there is a demand which is there, if you want to still shine out, start building a portfolio, use tools, do things, do practice, do case studies on how you can do a sample materiality assessment, how you would have done a GHG model, or how you could have created a sample BRSR or a subset of that. Today, when I hire people in GovEVA, I look for things like this. If they don't already have them, one or the other of my team member gives them an assignment to do something like that. Because we want to see whether what you have learned in classrooms can be quickly converted into practice. And that is true for any of the 4 areas which I mentioned to you: corporates, consulting, financial institutions, or companies like this. And then continuously look for internship, consulting opportunities, exposures. There are lots of gigs happening, part-time gigs happening, small-time gigs happening, internships are happening everywhere. Today I was speaking to a colleague of mine. If you look at popular interning platforms like Let's Intern or Internshala of our India, there are lots of these projects available over. More importantly, I think a lot of you, if not all of you, are some or the other profession you are already doing. You are doing this as a add-on course or a mid-career course. As much as hard skills are important, my request to all of you is please focus on new kinds of soft skills if you don't already possess them. As I mentioned to you today, ESG is a C-suite priority, and you're going to interact with people over there. If you go and tell someone who's a CEO, CXO, CFO, whatever, that this is your scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, or this, I need this disclosure, that disclosure, that's all fine. But he needs to understand what it means in terms of his company's risk, opportunity, bottom line impact, top line impact. So try to understand how an ESG program priorities link to how a CXO is thinking. Otherwise, even if he gives you time, he's going to phase out, right? And that person who's in that place, her demands from you are always going to be around how is it impacting my business? Because people who have reached that position always thinking like that. So my urge to you is that even if you get an entry level job or a mid level job, because of the very nature of this business, your interactions will be at the very top. Learn to think and talk in this language. Next is multi-stakeholder management. I think even if you have all of the hard skills which you will learn in the ISER course and which I have listed and which you will find online, if you cannot do multi-stakeholder management, you will not at all succeed in any role in ESG. Because for ESG to succeed, by its very nature, E, S, and G touches every function, every department, every location of an organization. And we have seen this because we deal with companies, clients day in, day out. You may be a specialized ESG sustainability profession, but the people you are dependent on for data, for information, which will help you do all of the above things, or whose help you need to progress the sustainability agenda. Remember, they are doing some of the other main function. They have their other day jobs, and ESG is something more that they have to do, unlike you, for whom this is a full-time job. Now, how do you manage these people? How do you get cooperation from them, data from them? How do you get them educated? How do you get them as passionate about ESG as you and I are? Is a big soft skill which I think you must absolutely learn. And then finally, if you have come from traditional careers like accounting or employee health and safety or quality management, which are set rules and processes, ESG doesn't work that way. Please have a very open and flexible mindset. With due respect, I've seen people who come from some of these backgrounds like PhD, QMS, etc., struggle with ESG. Why is that important? Because ESG today is not a completely mature area. Our BRSR itself, which is just about 3 years old, is constantly undergoing change. The disclosures are required, which are required, are getting deeper and stronger. there's a lot of ambiguity. There are a lot of things which are evolving. You start with scope 3, such a vast subject. Where do you set the boundaries? What should I do? Should I disclose everything? Is it practically possible? Lots of challenges are there. Please learn to have a flexible mind which doesn't get flustered with ambiguity and change. So these are some of the things around ESG. Now, it is my job as the CEO and co-founder of GovEVA to tell you a bit about what we do at GovEVA as well, so that you know my credentials, my company's credentials. Essentially, GovEVA is a combination of deep domain intelligence. We have people who know ESG very, very well, as well as an extremely robust ESG digital platform, which has been in existence for the last 3+ years and been used by very, very large companies, which you can go and check in our website. But what drives my team, which is extremely passionate about what we do, is the fact that, as what I mentioned earlier, this is an area, this is a profession, this is a business where you not only can make a livelihood, make money, but you can also create impact. And for GovEVA, our purpose comes from the fact that I can help companies create impact. And the way we do that, as I mentioned to you, is through our digital platform, as well as I certified digital experts. And we call ourselves Sustainability Sherpa. That also brings me to a point. When you're doing ESG, don't look at it as a BRSR report that has to be completed or a carbon inventory which has to be done. It is an ongoing journey. Whether if you work with a service provider like us, a consulting firm, or within a corporate, it is not about delivering an artifact or an assignment. It is an ongoing journey. And that's why we have learned the hard way that if we want to make a client successful and help them create impacts, we should have a Sherpa mentality, which we absolutely do. And we help them walk the journey together. So with this, I'll give you my little Sherpa thought. People are now realizing, all stakeholders, investors, B2B buyers, regulators, internal employees, even conscious B2C buyers, that it is not about growing a company at any cost. Financial metrics are not just enough. It has to be growth combined and balanced with responsibility. By its very nature, this was a longish monologue. So thank you for listening to me patiently. I'll stop sharing. I'll stop sharing my screen now, and we can all take up any questions, thoughts, inputs that any of you may have for me.
Thank you, sir. We have few questions over here, and I request if Mr. Prasanta or Mr. Venkata could unmute themselves and ask it.
Hi, this is Venkata Sukumadhara. Good evening, sir. Thank you for the update on this ESG. I have more than 3 decades of experience, out of which 2 decades into IT, close to 15 years into IT project management. I'm now getting trained on the ESG certification also. So I would like to understand which role will be more suitable with my background of experience, which I should aim for.
So Venkata, there is a great demand for people like you.
Okay.
One of the basic foundations of ESG is data. And
Okay.
increasingly, people need data from all over the organization to come together and report it, analyze it, make cost and revenue decisions out of it. And also, so data is very critical. And the
Okay.
second part is ESG is a journey, as I mentioned. Any journey requires project management. So I
Okay.
think you have very good, deadly combination of technology and project management skills. So you can absolutely very confidently apply for jobs within corporates where they need a ESG specialist or a ESG manager, or even work with consulting or technology platforms. So actually a lot of options are open to you.
Yeah.
Tech and project management is a definite advantage in this domain.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All the best, Venkata.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Prasanta, would you like to ask the question or should I ask it for you?
My question is a little theoretical. I was wondering that how many companies or how far the companies are into preparing CTP and a climate transition plan, and they compare it regularly, maybe 3 years or 5 years horizon. They compare it for reporting purposes.
So, Prasanta, that is a very good question. I think ESG is evolving in India and across the globe. And we have seen companies which get directly most impact, like companies say in the steel industry, cement industry, and things like those, they are making climate transition plans. So I would say it's not very, very prevalent right now. But there are a few companies, not few, quite a few companies who are doing that. And within the consulting world where people provide consulting services, one of the big practices is around building the CTPs. So even financial institutions have started looking at it, Prasanta. So it's not that it's not being done, but it's not, I would say, widely embraced. If you look at our top 1,000 companies, I would say maybe 100 odd would be having some or the other CTP in place.
I have seen that Hindustan Zinc, they prepare TNFT reports. It is some kind of a climate things, and this is of course the mandatory for them to report under that. But I did not find any other company other than the BRSR report. They have the backup paper for climate transition plan or sustainability transition plan or something like that.
I think, see, what is happening is climate transition plans as they are evolving, there's not all companies are still making them publicly available or putting it in their websites, etc. So if they have been created 1 year back, 2 years back, they are monitoring it, checking it, fine-tuning it. So I think in the coming years, you will see more companies like HXL making these things public.
Thank you, sir. We have 3 more questions to go. We
Sure.
have Shruti, Tejal, and Mr. Rajesh Kumar. If you all would like to unmute yourself, like Shruti, then Tejal, then Rajesh Kumar, that would be lovely.
Hello. Hello. Good evening, sir. Myself, Dr. Shruti Nayak. I
Hi,
am
Shruti.
Hi. I am a public health professional. I did my bachelor's in dentistry and then master's in public health.
Wow.
I am currently working as a project in charge in an non-trust organization. Since I just wanted to understand, like for a personal like me, with no knowledge of accounts or audits and stuff like that, core medical background, how ESG can help me, because I have enrolled in certificate course of ESG, and in 1 month of the topics and the discussions that are happening, now I am a bit confused for the way forward for a person like me.
Sure. No, Dr. Shruti, I can understand what you're thinking, where your confusion is coming from. Before I answer, my first request to you is anybody can become a medical professional is obviously has the ability to think and put in a lot of hard work. So I'm pretty sure that over a period of time you'll grasp ESG fundamentals and more than that also. But if there is some place to start with which aligns with what your main professional educational qualifications are and your experience so far is, you could possibly look at things around in an environment, things around environmental and social impacts. And so essentially now today, when companies put up big projects, they need to be environmental and social impacts which are to be measured, including from a health perspective. So now a social impact from a pure health perspective, very focused, narrow thing. But if you can take that as a core and start thinking, planning, reading about that, you might find something which interests you and aligns with what you put your blood, sweat, tears for so many years in that profession.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shruti. I think Tejal had a question, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Tejal
hi,
and
this is Tejal. So, as you mentioned, that QMS and other EHS background people like suffer a bit in ESG. So that's what like I wanted to understand what will work best for them.
Okay, so Tejal, I hope I didn't use the strong word like suffer. And if I did, my apologies to all of you who are in that
No.
profession on this call. What I meant was that, our way of thinking, if we are, see, quality, if you're doing, you're by your very nature, by our very job, we have to follow stringent guidelines, whether it's from regulators or people like ISO, etc. Those are coming in ESG as well. Today, ISO has a lot of norms and emission factors and all kinds of things for ESG. All I'm saying is that you have to take that rigor of your formal process way of thinking, but also add a layer of being agile and open to change and ambiguity, right? Uh, what happens is in quality, for example, or employee health and safety, something is either yes or no. There are no grays. But in ESG, for example, if you're doing scope 3 accounting, there is nothing which says that you have to do all 15 categories of scope 3 from day one. You can choose the boundaries, those may change. You may report a particular set of numbers in the current year, and next year you may realize that, oh, I missed out this, I missed out that, and you may reinstate that. And all standards and disclosures even allow that. Unlike in, say, in EHS or quality, reinstatement is not allowed. In ESG, it is allowed. Why? Because people realize this is emerging, things are happening, people are learning, boundaries are changing. So, my appeal to people in that profession is keep your core strength of process, quality, rigorous thinking, but also learn to live with the ambiguity and things which can change fluidly. Because the disclosure standards allow it, and they allow it because they recognize that this is the nature of the game we are playing.
Understood.
Thanks, Tejal.
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Mr. Rajesh
This
Kumar,
is
and
Rajesh
we
Mehta.
have yeah.
Yeah, this is Rajesh Mehta. Sir, I am basically BE Mechanical Engineering and 30 years of experience in procurement of engineering material and services. Since last 6 years, I am associated with this 𝐒𝐭-𝐫 certification, and then I started with the various courses. As you are aware that majority company are running with the SAP or some software. I am from procurement, so my main scope is scope 3 emissions data collection and providing the data to the management for capturing carbon footprint and all these things, sir. Now, the data which is available in the system or from the vendor, it's a really havoc because nobody is understanding. Basically, all the transaction are how to accounting the transaction, that purpose, but how to get the data of carbon emission, social responsibility, or governance and all. Governance up to some extent data is there. So this is the biggest challenge. And now I take a challenge. I want to be a consultant, at least for MSME company or small company who have to be a approved vendor in the bigger vendor list, but they are back out because of they don't have the knowledge of how to give that vendor evaluation format fill up, how to take a target and how to achieve it, what are the things. Some when I discuss with the many vendors, it's a very surprise because we are asking for energy, water conservation and water consumption and all these things. But in many industrial, there is no water meter. There is no provision, fixed charge. So these are the very few cases. I want to be a consultant because I am in the urge of now retiring from my present job within 2-3 years. What is the way forward? Point number one, and I would like to have your email ID and mobile number, sir.
Done, done, done. Uh, All three are available to you. Email ID, mobile number, and also answer to your question. Rajesh bhai, I think what you have chosen as ESG, being a supply chain professional, is a very, very right decision you have made, because sustainability in the supply chain is very important. And as you
Yes, sir.
rightly said, MSMEs who don't have the wherewithal or ability to embrace this, they may lose out on good premium clients, contracts, etc. So if you can help them, they will see value and they'll be happy to pay for your time and services. Now, uh, you're absolutely right. For many things, data may or may not be available. One has to go slowly, slowly, step by step, and understand this. You are absolutely right. If you look at the SAP system, they'll have data for electricity consumption, but they'll have it in terms of rupees that was spent. है ना? So if someone is putting, hey, by in the purchase ledger कि इतना electricity खरीदा, but what we want is kilowatt hours. Now, those some of those challenges are there. So it's a dual thing. One is we have to keep reinventing the processes, urge people. And I know I've had conversations with multiple organizations. They think it's important, so now they start capturing this data at source. So what they do
Right.
is, earlier they were telling, "Ke bhai, you just enter the amount on the electricity bill." Now they're saying, you please put kilowatt hour also. So we get that data. Again, you rightly mentioned water or something. वो तो तुमको पता नहीं है क्या नहीं. But there are, Rajesh bhai, as you get deeper into this, there are standards, factors, heuristics available which says, okay, fine, if you are a company in this industry or manufacturing this, this is supposed to be the globally accepted estimate of the water that you are consuming. So
Right.
that is your consumption. Now, in top of that, if they are able to do recycling or they have a ETP plant or something like that, that consumption will come down. So you are absolutely right. Data is a challenge, awareness is a challenge, but therein lies the opportunity. And the
Yes, sir.
opportunity is not to expect a baddu perfect you will get. You have to deal with this ambiguity, deal with half data. And with half data also, the world also knows this. So for example, today you have factors for emission which are spend based. So if you tell me I don't have my fuel bill for running my boilers, consumption amount, I don't know how much coal I use or how much LPG I use or liquid fuel I use or whatever I use. I may use briquettes also. But if you have the amount, that itself there are processes and algorithms and uh, acceptable ways of doing which can help you calculate it. So I would say you're in a very sweet spot, Rajesh bhai. There is a great
Yes,
opportunity in this, and it
yes,
has
sir.
to be done step by step, and solution is available. People have to
Right.
apply their mind, and experts like you are required.
Right. Sir, actually, scope 1, scope 2 data is very easily available. For scope 3, I just trying to have a data, or I always continuously searching Google's for spend-based analysis that is available. But how to capture and convert my spend to that, it's quite difficult. So I require some mentor for that, and I'm seriously looking for that because I identify the gap. Now, if I just know the gap, but how I can contribute to society, that is my aim.
Rajesh bhai, look for me on LinkedIn, connect with me over there, and we'll
Right, sir.
definitely further this conversation.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome. Are there any more questions, Harsha, or can we wind up for the evening and let everyone have their dinners?
Yeah, good evening. I
Hi,
have one
Vaibhav.
question. Yeah.
बोलिए ना.
As far as I am a well settled government employee with the research background as a scientist with the specification of water resources. Okay. So I am just updating myself with the new tools and new avenues. So as far as the water is concerned, I want to know what are the different avenues in the ESG sector, and if that are available, what are the tools and techniques that I should update myself to catch the ever demanding market for the consultancy or whatever it may be.
So Vaibhav, if you look at the E of ESG, after emissions, which is carbon, the next most important thing is water.
Yeah.
Water is a big risk for many industries. Water नहीं है तो धंधा नहीं हो सकता है, manufacturing नहीं हो सकता है. Even our BRSR, for example, has questions around: is any of your locations in a water stressed area, and what are you doing about it and all that. So
Oh.
I would say if you have expertise in water, there are many avenues around helping people report, or then the whole business of conserving, recycling, repurposing water. Many companies today have come out with ambitions to be water neutral, water positive. And to make that happen, it's not that you can stop consuming water in your business. You need water to run your business. What can you do? So your textile plant, pani to chahiye. But then, as you know, as a water expert, so many things are available: rainwater harvesting, recycling, etc., etc. And people are looking for experts who can help them do that, project manage it, and also implement it. So I would say great place to be after emissions, after carbon dioxide. H2O is the next best area you can be in ESG.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, thanks.
Sir, I have a question.
Hi, Smita.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. So first of all, thank you very much, sir, for such a wonderful session. Really, it opened up my mind and also got to know about the various opportunities that one can look at in this space. Sir, I have a question about my own career. I actually have a total work experience of about 20 to 23 years. I started my career in the banking sector, and I was mainly managing the wealth management and daily banking requirements of CXO level clients, HNIs and super HNI clients. I did this for about 9 to 10 years. And then I transitioned into the development sector, and I worked with the non-profit organizations for 13 years. And I was mainly doing fundraising, like corporate fundraising is my forte. And now I decided to do a certification program in CSR and sustainability. But now I see that there are not enough jobs in the CSR role. Like if I want to get into a corporate at my level, because I was already at a senior level in the nonprofits at a associate director level. So obviously I'm looking at roles which are, at least quite senior roles. So which I'm not finding. I've been looking like for last 3 months. So, and I'm seeing there are more roles in coming up in the ESG space. So I need your guidance around
Smita, you
this.
should absolutely look for manager leadership roles in ESG. Given your banking experience, as I mentioned, so what are the skill sets which I mentioned, right? You should be able to speak CEO, CXO language, finance language, which you have. Second is multiple stakeholder management. You have done ops for HNIs, then you've done fundraising. I think it's one of the toughest things to do, raise funds for NGOs. It looks very easy, and people talk, but when you actually sit in front of them, it's tough. So in terms of understanding business, CEO, CXO language, and multiple stakeholder management, very important soft skills, you have all of that. Now with this program and then some more self-learning, etc., if you add couple of layers of your hard skills, which you're already doing, I think there'll be multiple opportunities available for you in ESG management, ESG leadership for sure.
But I don't have any experience in ESG. I mean, how do I start?
Nobody has. There are no people with ESG management and leadership experience. So people are willing to bet on people like you who have some or the other soft skills and background and have done some or the other course. So if you remember one of the slides I was showing, have your own portfolio.
Right. Yeah.
So if you approach someone, so say, I'm learning and here's what I've learned. Here's how I can quickly put it into practice.
Okay. So an internship possibly would, a couple of internships would possibly help.
Absolutely.
For taking up a full-time job.
Yep.
Okay. Fine, sir. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Great. I think with everyone's permission, we should now wind up. It's 2 minutes to 9 p.m. So Harsha, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, sir, for taking all the questions and patiently answering each one of them. Really appreciate the wealth and the breadth and the richness of the knowledge you brought to our platform. Highly appreciate, and thank you everyone for joining. Vaibhav, Smita, Rajesh Kumar, Tejal, and Prasanta for asking the questions. I hope it helped all of you all to develop the next steps in your life. I will be sharing Jangoo sir's email ID as well as LinkedIn group that we are all in. You can get in touch with. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Wish you all the best in your careers, and do feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or whatever. All the best. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.